Today I'm going to show you how I made these 17 shirts in less than 30 minutes. The first thing I did was prep all my shirts. So I put a tacky mat in every single one of my shirts so that I am ready to go. If you don't have enough tacky mats to do this, you can also make your own tacky mat using like spray adhesive and a cheap plastic cutting board from the dollar store or cardboard or something like that. So you just want something in between your shirt to both hold your shirt in place and to protect the shirt from the ink bleeding through to the backside. And now I'm ready to make my shirts. So I have all 17 shirts here, and I am going to show me screen printing all of the shirts, but I'm just showing it in sped up time so that this video isn't 30 minutes long. It took me about 30 minutes to do all 17 shirts. And I am using our Speedball screen printing fabric ink in black, which we have on our website. And actually all the products that I'm using today are in our textile add-on bundle. So if you are interested in screen printing shirts or fabric, I highly recommend that bundle. I use all 4 of those items every single time I screen print. And in the bundle is our purple film, 5 sheets of our purple film, black Speedball ink, a tacky mat to hold your shirt in place, and our black silicone squeegee. I really prefer the squeegee whenever I am doing shirts. It just works better for me, and I use it every time I do fabric. So as you can see, I'm just going from one shirt to the next without washing out my stencil. I just hold my stencil in my left hand as I move my shirt off to the right. And I do have my boyfriend helping me. He's off to my right, putting the shirts all in order on the floor and moving them out of the way so that I can just keep going. And after I have ink on my stencil, I don't like to really move it around or push it down, so I try to get it in the spot I want it on my first time. I don't like lay it on my shirt, lift it up and move it around. I just put it down where I want it the first time, and I don't really need to push it down. I'm using enough ink on my squeegee and on my stencil to kind of glide and pull the ink across my stencil and get it in all the openings. It can be hard to see where you've put ink after you've done your first stencil. So you just I always err on the side of just, using enough. But then as you can see, what I just did there is I lift my stencil really slowly. And if there's a spot that I missed, I can just put my stencil down and put ink back in the spot that I missed before removing my stencil completely. And that works really well. Another thing I like to do is have a wet paper towel next to me so that if I do get ink on my hands, I can wipe it off right away, and that minimizes the risk of getting ink on my shirt where I don't want it. I just try to keep my hands as clean as possible. When doing multiple shirts like this, you can also either mount our blue stencil film directly in a Speedball frame, or you can also tape the purple stencil film onto the top of a screen printing frame. We have people in our group who have showed examples of doing that. Keep in mind that if you put the purple stencil on top of a Speedball frame, then you are screen printing through 2 layers of mesh. So you may need to change your technique a little bit, but it does work. And some people just find that when they're doing multiple stencils, having it on the frame not only keeps it cleaner, but also just makes it a little bit easier to go from one shirt to the next. I never really have a problem just going, from one shirt to the next without a frame. So that's just my preference of how I do it. Here I didn't have a tacky mat that was big enough for this teeny tiny little shirt, so I had to combine 2 of them. And for these shirts, did use the same size stencil for all 17 shirts, from the littlest one for my little 2-year-old niece all the way up to, extra large shirt. I just use the same size stencil. Depending on your artwork or your design, you may want to make 2 different sizes, one for the kids' shirts, one for the adult shirts. It kind of just depends on your art and what you need to do. So this is my last shirt, and I'm just putting the tacky mats, stacking them kind of in there. And as you'll see in the reveal, this shirt printed just as good. This is my 17th shirt, and it turned out just as good and clear and crisp as my first shirt did, even though I'm reusing the stencil over and over again without washing it out in between. And this is the reveal from my last shirt. It looks so good. Even up to the last shirt, it held in all the details and fine letters and numbers, and it looks great. I love how these turned out. And that's a wrap. Got all my shirts laying out, drying. Might hit them with a hair dryer to help them dry a little faster, but they all look great.